you selling your house in Orlando? Here's a list of what you have to disclose to any potential buyer.
And stick around till the end because we're also going to provide you with some bonus items that you don't have to disclose. And you'll want to know about those for your own well-being.
So right off the bat, we have to discuss this. Most sellers say, I am selling my home as is. What you see is what you get.
I'm not doing anything.
They're not going to fix anything. But that's not the case. You must disclose things that will materially affect the value of the home. Any defects that you know about that will affect the value of the home, that has to be disclosed.
Also, I want to advise everybody before we get into listing some of the items in here, it's real important to go into this with an open mind. Don't go in with I'm just not going to fix anything. There may be some things that you don't even know about that you do want to fix. So let's take each circumstance as they come up and fully discover what's going on. If you close down and say, that's it, it's probably going to hurt you financially, and that's our job to protect you. So you want to talk about some of the things they have to disclose?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we talk about things that could affect the value of the home, we're discussing things like if there's a foundation crack that you know about, if your house is starting to shift a little bit, you need to disclose that to a buyer.
They're going to find that out in the discovery process, which is called the inspection time frame. So bring it up right now and put it on your disclosure. It will protect you legally.
Yeah, and if you don't, they're just going to think you're a liar and they're not going to want to proceed with your house. They're like, you should have known this. Also,
well, and that's an important part. The more we disclose, the more honest the perception of it is. And it means you're an honest person. We're not implying that you're not, but what we don't want is we don't want to create an environment where the buyer thinks that we're being dishonest. So the more we disclose, the better. And there's some other things you want to talk about.
Yeah, of course. Like, for example, some homes are in a golf community. And there are a lot of golf communities, golf courses that are going under. And if you're aware of that, you need to disclose that to the buyer. You can't say, oh, I didn't know that they were getting rid of the golf course and building townhomes in the middle of the subdivision. You have to disclose that.
Yeah, and it's going to come out. I mean, the chances are if that's going to happen, we've had that happen in one of our communities here, and you have to let them know this. Chances are they're going to know it anyway, but we don't want to hide any of it because it will ultimately harm you and it won't close, and they have every right not to close based on a huge something that's going to affect the value of their property. Great example, and we wrote this down, we wanted to talk about it. If you know they're putting a Walmart right behind you,
yeah,
you kind of got to let them know.
Yeah.
Now, that's why we go and we fight all of those when we have town meetings because nobody wants a Walmart right behind them. But if you know it's coming, we need to tell them.
Or if you're on a conservation area and you found out that they're building townhomes again there and you're like, I just want to sell before they start the construction. No, don't, because you're going to get ratted out. Because if they talk to your neighbors, all your neighbors are going to say, yeah, we knew that this was being built here. It was coming for 5 years. And that buyer could turn around and sue you later.
And they're going to sue you for damages as well. And they have every right in which to do so. Now, please don't panic on this because the disclosure, we covered some big things right here.
Yeah.
There's some other things that are a little bit smaller that we're going to talk about in just a couple minutes. More important than anything, though, we're going to cover each one of these with you and have detailed conversations because your home is unique and it deserves our full attention. So a couple of the big things that come up are if obviously we disclose if we're in a homeowners association.
Right.
You definitely disclose if you know that there's a sinkhole in the area because that's public knowledge, but we want to be forward leaning on it.
And you also will disclose if there are any boundary disputes or any legal actions being taken against the homeowners association or even on your own homesteaded property like your insurance.
Everybody's going to get a seller's disclosure. It's a document that we're going to give you that helps prompt disclosing some of the things you're having or have had occur in your home. And it's okay to have had a water leak. We just want to explain briefly that we had a water leak, it was professionally repaired. That's enough. You're covered.
And where it is, because when the buyer has a home inspection, the inspector will see it, the dried water mark, and so you're better off just disclosing it.
It asks about the age of your roof. We're going to disclose that as well. If you have an 18-year-old roof in the state of Florida, that runs into a little bit of an issue. In fact, they just changed the laws at this point. We do something called a wind mitigation and a 4-point inspection. And the roof age, I don't know if you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
If it's less than 5 years life left by the inspector, it's not insurable, which is a challenge. And less than 5 years of the 10-year process. There's a lot in this disclosure that is going to help you. Like, does your pool have a leak? If it did, we're going to say yes. And we'll tell them that we fixed the leak. You can address every problem so nothing comes and bites you in the backside later. And if we disclose it properly, they're never an issue.
Right. Also, you disclose if your appliances work. And so for those of you that those as-isers, everything is as is, I always say just disclose it if your appliance does not work, if your microwave doesn't work or your dishwasher doesn't work, because that buyer will receive a copy of that seller's disclosure. So then once they have it inspected, they can't come back and say your dryer doesn't work or your microwave doesn't work, because you're saying, I know, I told you about it. And you decided to put forth the offer anyway.
That's a really strong point that Jackie brought up. The more you disclose, you can say we're conveying as is, and they can't come back and ask you for that. Well, hey, listen, this isn't working. Of course it isn't. No, we're going to get them to sign the seller's disclosure. So they've already agreed to that on contractual.
Right.
And they can't come back to you. So this is a double-edged sword. One of them's like, oh my gosh, do I have to disclose the Walmart? Yes, you do. But it also is going to serve to protect you and make sure that you don't have to make any repairs or make any restitutions.
If you're enjoying this video, we would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions about anything to disclose, just drop a little comment below and we'll answer that for you. So now we're going to talk about the year that your home was built. If your home was built prior to 1978, you'll have to provide the buyer with a lead-based paint disclosure, alerting them that lead-based paint could have been used in your property at one point in time. And if your home was built between 1978 and the late 1990s, you could have polybutylene pipes. You'll have to disclose that to your buyer as well if you haven't repiped your home.
Now these are kind of a challenge because, and it's a wonky challenge too. Here's the thing, with polybutylene pipes, there's a lot of issues where they were cracking and they were breaking and they get water leaks. But most of those were up north and they were due to freezing warm, and the joints would fracture. We have very little leaking in South or in all of Florida, quite honestly. However,
insurance companies don't like it.
That's exactly right. Something else, if you've got an insurance claim that was filed, you want to disclose that on your seller's disclosure as well. And if you've done any improvements to your home, like adding on or something like that, did you pull permits? If not, we need to discuss it because we need to make sure that you are protected. This is all about making sure that you're safe and that you don't enter into a liability issue. And that's our job, is to make sure that happens.
Bottom line is, if you know about it, you must disclose it. And we always say, over disclose, just don't talk as much as George does.
Less is more in the disclosure. It's something as simple as, this was the issue, we had it professionally repaired, and here's the date. That's plenty. They don't need a story, but we want to disclose everything we possibly can that's not ridiculous. And again, we'll cover every single one of these with you.
And he's still talking.
Still talking. Selling your home as is absolutely doable. How we manage the seller's disclosures are going to help you facilitate that. And even if you're not selling it as is, seller's disclosures are a way of protecting you legally. And that is our #1 priority. Besides, of course, getting you as much money as we possibly can. Let's get to the bonus stuff because that's fun.
Okay.
What you don't have to disclose. You don't have to disclose that you buried a dead body in your basement.
Will you stop that?
I like that. It's fun.
Oh my gosh.
The truth of the matter is, you don't have to disclose if somebody passed away in your home. That's not a requirement for it. There's other little things that you don't have to disclose.
If someone asks about it, though, you can say, Florida law does not require me to disclose that.
That's correct. Hopefully that never happened.
You also don't have to disclose if someone in your home has HIV or AIDS. You don't have to disclose that.
Right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Those are 2 bonus questions right there.
Yeah.
If you want to take a look at a seller's disclosure, can we put a little link down below for them?
Absolutely, we'll do that. The full seller's disclosure will be down below for you. Take a look at it when you're ready. And if you want to get on our calendars, our schedule's down there as well. We'd love to talk to you about your priorities.
We hope you enjoyed this video. That's all we have for you for now.
Bye.
Bye.